What's up, guys? It's me again, Christian Rodriguez, and I just wanted to talk about Happy Sunday. Well, at least the day of filming this is Sunday. It's probably not going to post on Sunday, but I wanted to talk about 3 reasons why habits are better than discipline. So, before I get into the first reason, I'm currently listening to the audiobook of Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's my 3rd time listening to it, and I thought it'd be a really good time to talk about it. So there's a very famous quote by James Clear, and it goes by this: you don't rise to the level of your systems, but you fall to the level, you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And this really resonated with me because, and basically anything you do. I know systems really go with business. People think of it in business, which, yes, that's how that's how most businesses become successful, because they have some sort of systems in place which allow them to make more money, allow them to get more done, allow them to free up more time. But this goes into all aspects of life, not only business, not only it goes into just about everything. But I just thought this would be a good topic to talk about, since I'm currently working on it. It's not perfect. I've been struggling with it. But reason number 1 is discipline, to be honest, is overrated. I'm not saying discipline is bad. Discipline's great. It's great to have. My only issue with discipline is that, think of it like a health bar, right? Like in a video game. A lot of guys who play video games, or who I have played in the past, think of it like a health bar. Some days you have it full. Some days it's almost on E. It's empty. It's close to empty, and your discipline's out the window. Discipline is good as one line of defense. So when you're boxing, right? Maybe you rely on slips. You rely on blocks. You rely on weaving, bobbing and weaving. You rely on different lines of defense, right? You want those different lines of defense. And I think discipline is one line of defense. But what I think is more sustainable is habits. Is really habits, systems in place. So instead of saying, I'm going to have the discipline to go to the gym, right? Well, yes, you can have that discipline, but I personally think what's more effective is, okay, when I wake up at 6 a.m., I'm going to wake up at 6 a.m. to go to the gym for an hour before work. Now you're building some sort of, now you expect, okay, I'm going to go to the gym right before work. That's something that I do every day. And now your mind is going to associate the time before work to go to the gym. So you're probably gonna go to bed earlier. You're probably gonna wake up earlier. You're probably gonna go to the gym, stuff like that, right? And even with work. So even after work, right? You get out of work at 5. Maybe you're at home at 6, right? And then you decide, all right, so at 6 p.m. I'm gonna work on my business. I'm gonna work on my side business, so I don't have to rely on a job anymore. And you just do that for 1 hour. Right? That's a system. That's an example of a system in place. And reason number 2, life is very unpredictable. Life is chaotic. There's going to be emergencies. There's going to be burnouts. You might burn out. There's going to be random setbacks. There's going to be some bullshit that's out of your control. There's always going to be something that's going to be out of your control. If I know I talked about this before, but if China decided to invade Taiwan, and say you have a business that relies on semiconductors from Taiwan, for some reason now your business is fucked, because now they're worried about war, so you're not getting semiconductors, or the ones that you have been getting at a good price are coming out more expensive. So now you almost, if you're only relying on discipline, it might screw up your routine. It might screw up everything. But if you have a system in place, you can just fix it. It could be like a quick little fix, right? For example, when COVID happened, right? I was going to the gym. COVID happened. Guess what happened? All the gyms closed. I couldn't just go to work out. I couldn't just go lift weights like what I was doing. So what did I have to do? I'm gonna be honest. The first month I wasn't working out for at all. I was like, I'm gonna wait for the gyms to open up. Guess what? The gyms didn't open up anytime soon. Summer came along, gyms weren't open, so I had to do something. And so I created a system. I was like, all right, I'm gonna buy a yoga mat, which I did on Amazon. I bought a yoga mat and I just started doing body weight workouts every morning, and it just became a habit. It became something like every day before breakfast, I'm gonna do a body weight workout. So, but yeah, COVID just proved that you need to have some sort of system in place, right? And I'm gonna talk about something that I do at the end to help me keep up with my habits. Because I'm telling you, this topic, I love talking about it because this is something that at times I still struggle with this myself. So I definitely have room to work on it. But reason number 3, habits without the system die fast. So anything that you do, anything that you try new, whether it's a business, maybe you're working on your business, maybe you're learning a new skill, you're learning AI automation like what I'm learning. So it's super exciting. You're learning at it, you're doing it, right? And maybe for the first 2 weeks, it's exciting, you're working on it. And then the 3rd week, you're like, fuck this shit, I don't want to do this. and you start doing something else. Because it's so easy for this to happen. Even with me taking videos, recording myself. If I don't have the system in place for this, if I don't have the habit of recording every 2 days, which is what I do, that's my habit, is recording every 2 days, then I'm not going to do it. I will probably procrastinate it and wait until I feel like it. And that's when things drop out of your habit loop. That's when you start doing something else. That's not what you actually should be working on, right? So with the gym, I talk about the gym because gym's what everyone understands. A lot of people go to the gym for a week. Maybe they see some newbie gain, a pump. Then they go the 2nd week. And the 2nd week, it feels more like a chore. It feels more like a hassle. They're like, I don't really want to do this, but I'll keep going. Maybe the 3rd week comes along and there's a baseball game on Monday at 7. A really big rivalry game. And they're like, I kind of want to sit down and watch the baseball game. Plus, I had a long day at work. I earned it. I worked hard last week, so you know what? I'm going to work Monday. I'm going to take a break. So you take a break Monday. You skip Monday. Then Tuesday comes along. You skip 2. And then you have the habit of just skipping the gym. And then you just stop going completely, right? Because you didn't really have a system nor stick to it. And this is really a bonus, but like what I do, something that I really been working on with my systems, especially that I'm learning AI automation, is so right now I remember I moved from New York to Chicago. I still have to go to the gym. That's like a non-negotiable for me, right? I do train combat sports, but at least I need some sort of fitness. Even if I don't do combat sports every day, if I end up missing out on it, that's fine. As long as I do some sort of physical activity. That's like a non-negotiable for me. 2, I have to do some sort of N8N. I have to do N8N. I have to do content creation. So that's part of my habits. Whether it's making a video for you guys or it's posting the video, editing and posting the video, which I do in separate days. So that's a habit within itself. So I have a habit tracker, and it keeps that. And I also am actively learning French, and I've been doing it for almost a year, which is crazy. But I've been actively learning French. I even have a French tutor. But you see that I make it a habit of mine. I put it on my habit tracker, and what I love about the habit tracker is that it kind of has like the Hawthorne effect. So I learned this from another YouTube channel. If you know who Brandon Carter is, he talks about it. I got this idea from him, and then Atomic Habits just really reminded me of the idea, and I was like, I have to do this. But it's really about the Hawthorne effect. For some reason, when we're observed, when people are observed, we tend to perform better. We tend to do things. We tend to work harder on things when we're being observed. And that means if you're observing your habits on a piece of paper, you're more likely to do them. So for me, I have French lessons, working out, combat sports, but it's really working out that's more important. That's the one that I have to do. Facial exercises. That's why I have this little Jawzrsize thing. But yeah, I do facial exercises daily. I have to read a few pages a day, even if it's just a little bit of light reading or audiobook. I do that. I mentioned French. At least 15 minutes a day, minimum 15 minutes. That's it. I have to work on N8N, I have to work on AI automation. I have to work on content creation. I have to work on different things. I have to work on, what else do I usually, what's another thing that I keep my habit tracker? I can't think of it, I lost my train of thought, but I think you guys got the point. And that's the thing. Because I have this habit tracker, it almost like reminds me like I have to I can't just leave the checks unmarked. So I use a Notion template. You could do, to be honest, you could use it on a piece of paper, which is what a lot of people do. You could do the old school way. I just use a Notion template, and it's also linked to my phone, so I could fill it out on my phone as well. But yeah, I really like using the habit tracker. The habit tracker is great. It keeps me like accountable. It keeps me. It's almost like, it almost feels like I have to perform because the tracker is there. If the tracker is not there, I'm more likely to skip out on it. Like, it's out of sight, out of mind. But since it's there, that's my system. That's what helps me going, is really the habit tracker, right? And I'm not even thinking as much about my goals. I'm thinking more about the habits that I'm taking. I don't drink alcohol. It's not on my habit tracker. But if I'm hungover, how am I supposed to learn AI automation and learning stuff like N8N, but also hitting the gym and also using this Jawzrsize? I doubt I'd be doing any of this stuff if I was drinking alcohol. So stuff like that. So not only with the good habits, but the bad habits could screw everything up too. But I'll leave it at that. Thank you guys so much.